Steinbeck. That last video got cut off. And then another video I started filming on it got cut off to the point that I'm just not going to post that one. This was on the paperback nonfiction case. This was on the paperback fiction case. That's gotta be Paul Bacon. He really was like the grandfather of modern thumbnail cover design. But I don't love that kind of cover design. That he would read a book and think about it for 3 weeks before doing something. It was all about big title, big name, a single image that was suggestive of the whole. Sometimes I think he had some great covers. I like the Zen and the Art of the Motorcycle Maintenance cover. I think Portnoy's Complaint is good. But was he a one-trick pony? I don't know. And did he have a bad influence on cover design, or is it always going to go that way because of the technology? People just look at these tiny thumbnails now. You're so cute. Only got one tale left in the Canterbury Tales. Great. Good read. I'm glad I'm reading it. It's wild. It manages to make the 1300s feel not that long ago, because they're all talking about these ancient influences, etc. Those things seem old. I also read a little booklet on Chaucer. I'm surprised there wasn't one on Steinbeck in that Franklin series. I think it shows maybe a right leaning to their selection or something. Talking about this series of booklets I have that are for different authors. Grapes of Wrath. Yeah, I'm excited to read this and to have read this. Finally, I feel like I know it really well from the movie critical discussions of it. The Woody Guthrie songs, the Bruce Springsteen song and album. A really powerful moment with that movie. When I was in Alaska, it was crazy. I was kind of homesick and miserable, living in this super cold winter in Alaska, in Soldotna in a cabin, kind of going nuts from it. Real wild time in a way. And I put on John Ford's 1940, The Grapes of Wrath, and I did not know that it was filmed in New Mexico, but suddenly I was like, oh, wow, that's Cedar Crest. Like literally the town I had spent my adolescence in. And it was cool watching it recently. Same. Totally same. Yeah. It's cool. There's a town in the movie that is totally profiled in this book, San Antonio, the old church there. I wrote this. That little church is filmed in there. You can see that building that these kids are parading past. Such a cool photo. It should be a poster. One of those guys is wearing driving goggles, third from the left. You know, they were cool. Charlotte Ellis was definitely cool. Family, sometimes. One of her brothers killed the last grizzly in the Sandias. Come on. That's a magical spot that still looks exactly like that. 100 plus years later. So if there's still a little kid in a nightgown in the brush there, that's just frightening. This book documents all these sites that that movie, The Grapes of Wrath, where they filmed here. Sent out a B unit of the Jodes traveling. It doesn't make geographical sense when you can kind of like piece where they filmed. They're zigzagging all over. I mean, maybe that's how they were. They were lost. But it's like they'll be heading west, and then suddenly they're going south from farther north. I looked up what James Agee had to say in this collection of 1940s movie reviews. He was Times movie critic. Honestly, he's a good writer, and I enjoyed reading this collection at least once. But it seems like he has had not a high point of cinema for, you know, his era had a lot of weak stuff. Found very few things worth elevating. But he was very critical. He said of 99 feet out of 100 of The Grapes of Wrath, thought it was kind of phony baloney. But I think a really interesting quality of The Grapes of Wrath on this last viewing is there's a lot that's interesting. It's impossible to detach the story from politics, etc. But I don't know, pretty engaging movie, beautifully shot, lovely shadows and light, and, a compelling story overall. Time capsule of San Antonio and Ranchitos in the Sandia Mountains in the late 1930s is invaluable. It's incredible. I could give like a frame by frame little local history class, just going through that. Just found a magazine on Travels with Charlie. Quotes that excerpt in a cool zany way. Photocopy the pages. Oh. Steinbeck's Little Affair of the American. It's cool. It's got an old ad or book flap. Yeah. Found magazine. Great, cool, interesting magazine. Has enriched my life and made me pay attention to things maybe a little more. Went to an event kind of randomly for issue number 1. And yeah, I kind of followed it ever since. Not so much lately, but I have a lot of finds in the book found too that I sent in. Running around with the poodle. This I hear is great. Yeah, I already said all this in the video that got cut off. I've got a commentary for Of Mice and Men. I need to get Of Mice and Men. And ideally some alcohol and a scraping tool for all my books with tag damage. These aren't Steinbeck books, but I feel like are kind of relevant to thinking about the times he would write about and some of the things. Good book about the Dust Bowl, good intro. First Hard Time. Pretty cool cover, I think. We'll wrap around. This was a good biography of Woody Guthrie. Read it long ago, still think of it sometimes. By the guy who wrote that book, Primary Colors, as anonymous. I think he wrote for the weekly news mags, Joe Clan. And then this is just such a cool artifact, full color photos. Like color photography has been around for so much longer than we know, you know. Since 1512, no. They don't know things. Color photography. No, I think it does date way back though. Like the basic idea was there.